Hello everyone, and welcome to this first live stream session where we're announcing the event that's coming up in 2 weeks called the Virtual Energy Summit. It's the first time Cisco is offering this to our customers and partners, and your Cisco account teams will be there as well, all together enjoying the different topic discussions that will be happening. Today, what I'd like to do is take you through the actual sessions that we have confirmed and the agenda as we have it laid out. And hopefully that will encourage you to register and invite your friends and colleagues to join you as well for this really informative couple of days. The summit is happening on May 10th and 11th. It's only 2 weeks away from when we're doing this live stream. And we have all the speakers and sessions confirmed. And registrations are starting to climb. We're getting quite a few people signed up. And if you're interested in registering, even as you're watching this, the registration link is cs.co/energy22. We've divided the event into 4 different sections. The energy industry, as you know, is a very fractured industry, and so there's lots of topics that we could discuss in an energy summit. We've chosen to divide our topics into 4 different sections. The first one is energy transition, and the second downstream. Those will be happening on the first day. And then on the second day, we'll be covering midstream topics and upstream topics as well. So midstream and upstream for the second day. The theme for the whole event is called Agile Infrastructure. And really this comes out of the reality that the whole industry is under a tremendous amount of uncertainty right now with all of the energy transition activities that are happening, and the price of commodities is fluctuating even more than it normally is. And there's not a lot of long-term investments happening. So how do we design infrastructure for that? And what we've learned as we talk to partners and customers is really the key is agile infrastructure. And so we'll talk about that in these 2 days. There's horizontal topics that go across all of these, and we've kind of spread them out. But if you're focused on, say, upstream infrastructure, you will find relevance in all 4 areas because the architectures are horizontally applicable. Horizontal architectures like connectivity, management and orchestration, collaboration and security, these are going to be woven throughout the whole session, the whole summit, and you'll find usefulness regardless of which section you most operate in. The first day on May 10th, we're going to focus on energy transition and downstream topics. We're going to start with 90 minutes at the top, talking about architectures for renewables. We have Mads Linsbeck joining us from Norway, and he works a lot with the North Sea wind projects that are happening in Europe, and he's also has experience with solar deployments and energy storage, and he will be bringing us his experience from all of those different architectures. The second part of that energy transition 60-minute session is going to be brought to you by myself, Roland Plett, who I'm going to take you through the architecture that carbon capture, utilization, and storage depends on. And what's interesting there is that most of the funding is happening in the carbon capture side from a research and development perspective, but that's because the other portions, the transport and sequestration parts, are actually fairly well understood by the industry, and we have a lot to bring to that conversation as Cisco. The next 90 minutes of the first day, which will kind of round out the whole first day, is around downstream topics. And again, like I said before, these topics are applicable across the industry, but we're going to use downstream use cases and examples to highlight how these technologies work. We have Keith Hegaton joining us from Instant Connect to talk about next generation push-to-talk systems and how that integrates into your enterprise collaboration environment for optimized operations. And then Matt Nalbone will take over and talk about mobile apps and how mobile apps being available to workers anywhere in the site can be a massive game changer from an operations perspective. We round out the first day with an incredible conversation with Mozam Shamsi from Emerson, who is going to take us through their view of enabling infrastructure. And this is really a partnership between Emerson and Cisco, and he's going to talk about how they're able to enhance the collaboration and other architecture components that we've talked about earlier in the day, but also bring in some of the asset visibility and condition monitoring use cases as well. So very exciting first day. Second day is going to be focused much more about midstream and upstream content. We're starting out with the midstream content and talking to the vast number of sites that are involved with midstream, all along pipeline locations, and some of the advantages that we have seen from SD-WAN technology to be able to bring a converged infrastructure to play across all of these sites so that various stakeholders can leverage the same infrastructure. We're going to then pivot to a security conversation with Jeff Whitney from Burkana Resources, who has substantial experience with customers who are going through the assessment and now the mitigation phase of the TSA security directives that came out over the last couple of years. And this is not just a North American conversation. These same security regulations and principles are being applied globally by various governments. And so if you're in a different part of the world, these security conversations are going to be very interesting to you. We're doing something relatively new in the middle of the second day where you can submit your questions for our panel to answer. And so I encourage you to submit your questions to us, email us, message us on LinkedIn or on YouTube, and let us know what questions you have in the energy industry. And then we're rounding out the summit with a conversation about how to connect remote sites within an oil field or offshore platforms. And this is exactly the same architecture we actually use with wind farms in the energy transition world as well. And so Don Lane, who is our ultra-reliable wireless expert, will be bringing this session to us with a guest from Bats Wireless, where they connect large distances over mobile targets with fixed wireless backhaul. Very interesting topic for being able to connect modern bandwidth to some of these remote locations in the field. That's it. We're going to wrap it up there. There's so much more we could talk about, and this is really only meant to direct you to where more information is. And we will be covering a lot of information, but there's only so much we can do in 30-minute session slots. So we are going to encourage ongoing conversation with the team, and you're welcome to contact me with any questions you have. Again, quick reminder, if you haven't registered yet, the registration link is cs.co/energy22. Now I'm going to check the Q&A and see if there's anything in the comments. We've got a few people interacting. Some